Hi, I am very excited to bring to the world today Andrea Hatch, who is someone who is extremely special in my life. And you are my upline in Scentsy. And Scentsy brought us together, but we have become so much more than fellow consultants and friends in the business. We are friends and family outside of the business. And I am really excited to share you with the world. And so I appreciate you sitting down with me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this series has kind of taken off a little bit. I've gotten some really great feedback. For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, this is the Inspired Women Inspire Women series. And I have gotten really, really great messages from a lot of you that have tuned in. And you are inspired by this. And I am honored to bring this to the world. I am honored to bring this, sit down with women who I look up to and are important to me and special to me, and really get to hear their stories. It's about sharing stories and sharing what moves us, what motivates us, what keeps us doing what we do. And so tell us, who are you? Who are you?
Wow. Okay. I grew up in Salt Lake. Come from a family, 5 siblings, fabulous, really close family. Married my high school sweetheart. We got married very young. Got married at 19. Started a family very quickly, but it was a great. We worked on ourselves, but we had a great marriage. Unfortunately, at the age of 38, he passed away from cancer. So I was widowed at age 38. At the time, we had 3 kids, or we still have 3 kids, but
How old were they?
At the time, Casey was just graduating high school, so 18. Lexi was going into high school, so 15, almost 16. And Mitchell was just coming out of elementary school, so 12. So yeah, so they were in some pretty crazy stages in their life. And so yeah, that was a really hard part of my life. But I look back on it and I realized so much from that experience has brought into what I'm doing now, that it's been one of those things where it's like I've grown a lot from that. Even though it was the hardest time of my life, I have grown so much from that. So anyway, I have 3 children. I now have 2 grandbabies, 2 grandsons. And so yeah, this is, my life is always been pretty simple. I grew up in a really incredible neighborhood, just a few doors up from Colette, actually. So that was really fun growing up with a really fun neighborhood that was just full of kids, and we always did things together.
And tell us who Colette is.
Colette Ganell, she is one of the co-founders of Scentsy.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Yeah, so that was kind of my life. It was just a really simple, fun life as a kid, and just living as a kid. We went out and we played kick the can, and and all those fun games when you were kids, and didn't have to worry about the world at that time. But yeah, simple life.
How long was Robert sick?
Robert, so interesting enough, I used to cut his hair, and I'm not a beautician, and I found a mole on the top of his head, and we were dating at the time, so we were 19, and I knew moles I knew kind of a little bit about moles, and looking at it, I just knew that something wasn't right. And so, of course, men who don't like to go get checked or do anything. So it wasn't until actually we got married, and I was actually pregnant with my second, and he was not feeling well. The mole started changing, and I said, you know what? You got to get everything checked. I want you to go in and get a full entire physical. And unfortunately, 48 hours, he was in the hospital and getting the melanoma taken. They found it was melanoma, and it was, he had to have, it was like the size of, if you were to take a tennis ball and cut it in half, that's kind of the size of it, the hole that he had on his head afterwards. But so started at 22, and, it wasn't until 14 years later, we found it in a lymph node. And then 2 years after that is when it came back in pretty much everywhere. So he went through a lot of really intense treatment. And, I was really fortunate to have the support system that I had with my family, because I was able to stay at the hospital with him. We were at the Cancer Institute here in Salt Lake, and I would stay with him the whole entire week at the hospital while he was doing these treatments. We would come home, and no longer had he been home, then he would have to go right back up. So it was just a really hard 5 months. We found out it was back in January, and he passed away in May that year. So it was pretty fast when it did come back. But like I was saying, the experience that I had with him through that whole thing and being by his side has taught me so much. It's taught me how to be more independent and more, I rely on myself a lot more. I did a lot. I mean, he traveled a lot, but it's like you still have that support. You still have him there. Whereas now it's like I had to be me. I had to really focus on, okay, what is it that is going to bring me to a better place? And so I actually took about 6 years after he passed away to really find myself, get myself into a healthy place, not only emotionally and mentally, but physically as well. So it was just kind of this whole thing. And that's what really helped me, is taking that time to really focus on me and really focus on my kids and trying to get them in a good space as well. And I think I accomplished that to a point. And then people come into your world and change things very quickly, but you still rely, you still can pull those things back, and you kind of go, you know what, I'm still strong. I'm still who I am. I'm still that person who can get through. It's like, if I can get through that, I can get through anything. And that's kind of where I have been in my life, is where it is literally, I look at that experience and losing the love of my life and just saying, look, if I can do that, I can do anything, literally. So that's kind of where I've been. And that's where I, tried so hard to live my life that way, of just saying, look, this is nothing. This is, it's just another little thing that you can get through. It's okay. So.
Yeah. And you became the role of mom and dad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You were young.
Yeah.
You were young. And since Robert, you've had a lot of loss. You've had,
Yeah.
not that you are never prepared for losing anyone that you're close with ever, even if that, I mean, we all are going to pass at some point, right? But even
Right.
knowing that, it never makes it easier. And
Yeah.
so you lost your love of your life at a younger age. You became mom and dad at a young age. And then since then, you've experienced close loss, and you still handle yourself with such grace.
Thank you.
You you are the softest, most gentle soul I have ever met in
Oh,
my life. I mean it.
that means a lot. Thank you.
Sometimes you even wear your heart on your sleeve to a detriment.
Yeah.
But that's where I will say I will beat up anybody. I will beat up anybody that hurts you. But so tell me then, so you got married at a young age, you had kids at a young age. So had you ever worked outside of the home?
I did. I had a job actually towards the end of Robert's life. I was actually working in an office of um, it's a car uh, warranty. I was doing all the paperwork and stuff like that in the office, and it was just kind of like something to get away from the house, just because all the kids were in school, and it was like, what do you do? So, um, so I did. I mean, when Robert and I first got married, of course, we were both working, and I mean, we were young, we poor as little church mice, we had, had our we had special meals that we would make just because they were so cheap that we could make them. Um, so, but yeah, so that was pretty much my only job. Other than that, I was at home. I stayed with my kids. I was very fortunate to be able to do that.
So
So,
at what point in the journey that you've told us about, at what point did you find Scentsy?
so it was a year after Robert passed away, actually. It, I, people don't understand when after someone who passes away that is so close to you, like a husband, you go through a period like that whole entire year after they are gone. You're numb. You kind of almost have to remind yourself how to breathe. You just wake up and you just go, okay, you can get through this day and everything's going to be okay. And then you've got all the firsts that come up, their first birthday and the Christmas and all those memories and things that it's that first. And all your friends and family are around you and they're all like really supportive and being there because they know that that's what you're going through. And then all of a sudden, that first year happens and everybody just disappears, so you kind of like you kind of go, okay, I can do this. I'm on my own. And my daughter and I going back, I mean, it was really hard for me to get out of the house because it was like, how do you step out of the world, after you've been really kind of locking yourself up into your home for about a year. And my daughter and I were invited to a bead party, which is, where you go and make jewelry. And walked in, and there was this gal who had these warmers and all these jars sitting on the counter. And of course, I love candles. So I sent Lexi in to do her thing, and I sat there and started smelling all these jars and asking all these questions. And I ended up not making jewelry that night, but ended up buying all these gifts for Christmas because it was right before Christmas. And so I gave them away for Christmas, and all the people that I gave them to started calling me and was like, how do I get more? What do I, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna do this just to supply my own addiction, because I mean, my goodness, like, why not let somebody pay for my own wax,
Did you know at the time that this was Colette's? No. Okay.
Well, okay. I had gone to a boutique, like probably 6 months before that. And there was just this little setup that was a warmer with some bars. And the gal was like, oh, who this is Colette's. Like she just, I'm like, oh, that's cute. Didn't think anything of it. Okay. So So when I walked in, I mean, here's Scentsy, but I had no idea that it had gotten to that point already. So anyway, so these people are calling me, they want more Scentsy. And so I thought, you know what, I might as well sign up. So I called my sponsor, Jana, and I was like, hey, sign me up. And both of it, I mean, I was her first person. She was like, I don't know what to do. And but we had none of us, we had literally no idea what we were doing. I mean, there was not like the consultant guides and all the things that they had before. We were making up our own at that time because
Tell me what year was this?
this was in 2007. So, so yeah, I mean, literally, like we are making up for 2006. I can't remember when I signed up now.
When did you join Scentsy?
It'll be 16 years in January. So, but yeah, so we're making up our own stuff and we're, coming up with whatever we can just to fight to kind of figure out what we're doing in this business. And it was just like one person, like we've always talked about, and we've always kind of told people, it's like you find that one person that all of a sudden just changes everything. And that's what happened to me. I found that, one person just literally, it's like I would talk to one person and they would want to do it, and one other person would want to do it. But then it was the person I found that really took it to another level for me. And all of a sudden I'm like, this is a business. Like, this is no longer a hobby. Like, this is my business. And I decided to take it to that next level and continue building that business, because I could see where this was such an incredible product that everybody who saw it was like, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. And so that's where it started for me.
So Jana is directly under Colette, who
Correct.
founded Scentsy, and you are directly under Jana.
Right.
And obviously we know Colette is still with Scentsy.
Right.
And Jana is still with Scentsy.
Yeah.
And obviously you are with Scentsy. And there's quite a lineage of legacy. And I think that it's really cool to show that in and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's important to point out that there is opportunity in these types of businesses to create a life.
Oh,
to create a life and a career, and that it isn't just because you got in early.
Right.
It's because, and I'm going to ask you a question for you to answer, not for me to answer for you, but it's because there's a reason to stay. And so what would you say is your reason for continuing? What is your reason to stay?
The friendships. I mean, I know a lot of people say that, but it's really true. I have found lifelong friends like yourself that I would never have had if I did not have Scentsy in my life. That's part of what keeps me. So it's the friendships, it's the products. I mean, Scentsy really keeps coming up with these most incredible things that, and signing up with all these different companies. I mean, come on.
And by that you mean with our licensing agreements and partnerships, like with
Yes.
Disney and okay,
Warner Brothers and Harry Potter and all those, like they keep growing, so you can continue growing with them. Like, that's what is so incredible about this company, is that it's not stagnant. They're going to they keep doing this, and they do this for us. Which is just like, how many companies can actually say that? So that's another that keeps me here. Obviously, I mean, it's what's kept a roof over my head. I mean, when Robert passed away, like, he didn't have because we were young, and because he had the first time he had cancer was at 22, like, not a lot of companies are going to give you life insurance for that. And so, when he passed away, there wasn't a whole lot there. And so, but this business has allowed me to stay in this home and to continue giving my kids the life that Robert and I had built together and had worked so hard to make sure that we provided for our kids in a certain way. And that's what this has done for me, being able to do that and continue doing that to this day. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I was able to be a part of this. There's the saying that I actually found the other day, and when certain things happen in your life, you kind of chalk it up to certain things. And there's been a lot of things in my life where I kind of say, you know what, you put that in my path for a reason. And I know Scentsy was put in my path for an absolute reason. There was a reason why I went to that party. There was a reason why Alexi said, come on, Mom, let's go. You need to get out of the house. That the reason is this. And I know that there was I feel divine intervention in some of those things, just because I feel like I don't know if I would have found it. I don't know if I would have done this.
So talk about a sense of purpose. I mean, when you've been through something, I mean, it was only, you said, a year after he passed that you started Scentsy. Not too long after that, you realized this could be your next thing. This could be not next thing as a replacement for your spouse, but this could be your next path. This could be your purpose. And can you speak to that? Can you speak to how it gave you? I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I don't want to lead you too much into the answer, but can you talk about that sense of purpose?
Yeah, I mean, it's given me a chance to find out who I am. I've always been, and I still am, very much where I kind of in the background. I'm not one of those to really put myself out there and really, I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of, how do I put it? I like being kind of that person in the back. But what this has done has allowed me to help other women and not just women, but men as well, find a purpose in this. And I don't even want to say just this business, because there's some people where I've been able to, like, I was actually talking to a consultant yesterday who is going through a really, really hard time. And she's like, God, I don't know if I should do this. I just don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, you know what, where are you in your life? Like, what's going on with you? And let's talk about that. And, it's like finding her, what was going on with her. And it's like, that to me, that made me feel like I was able to get, not only just help her find her path as far as with Scentsy, but also kind of help her find that, hey, you're worth more than this. So to me, what I have found with this is it has given me more purpose in life, as far as is just being a Scentsy consultant. I've been able to be a better person for me. I've been able to be better for my kids and better for my team members. And be able to express myself more, like I say, I like to be a little quiet mouse, but I do love to be able to give as when I can. So I think as far as, I think that's kind of what you're getting at, maybe.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, because I think one of the things that I don't think a spotlight is shown bright enough on the element of, um, there is such a human factor in what we do. There is a human, it is about relationships, and it's about community, and it is about giving people, and we say women, and we do mean women and men, but women, I think, really strive to feel a part of something.
For
And
sure.
I think that is one of the reasons why Scentsy is so successful, and why so many of our consultants and our peers stay with Scentsy, is because of the greater feeling of being a part of something that is good,
Mhm.
and feeling a part of a community, and feeling the value in that community, and feeling that validation in relationships, that there's a reason that you're here. And so, though you may feel, I'm in the background, I'm here, I'm always here, but I'm not going to be the person that is commanding the crowd in the front. I am going to be observing and supporting from the back. And it takes all different types of leaders, all different types of characteristics, and types of leadership to create that community, because we all can't be chiefs, and maybe we can, but we need all sorts of leaders, and we need all sorts of leadership styles to cultivate this community that we're so proud to be a part of. And so you did speak exactly to that this, I mean, it has given you a purpose in many senses, and you've been with Scentsy now for 14 going on 15 years.
16 of them
16,
in
almost 16
January.
years. So how much, when you first started this business, the purpose that it gave you, it's still there today, but that purpose has continued to evolve,
Yeah,
wouldn't you say? And
absolutely.
so you have been able to provide for your family. You
Mhm.
have been able to afford a lifestyle that you love living. You have been granted the opportunity to travel the world.
Yeah.
You have gotten to take each of your children on different occasions on Scentsy trips.
Mhm.
Alexi got to go to Africa. Mitchell went to Walt Disney World. Casey went to Punta Cana. You have given them opportunities because of this business.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty incredible. As a mom, as a woman, as a business owner, to be able to say to your children, because I am successful in what I do, and I do believe in myself. We all struggle with believing in ourselves, but because I believe in myself, I have this opportunity to give you and to gift you. And I fortunately have been able to spend time with each of your children on each of those trips. And who they are is a testament to the mother that you have been. They are all three successful. All three of them. Casey has a beautiful family with your two grandchildren that mean more to you than anything. I mean, you love your three kids. There's no
I
denying.
do.
But those boys have breathed a new life for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Alexi is extremely successful. Mitchell is extremely successful. And that is a testament to who you have had to be for them, and the life that you have given them despite tragedy. And I am absolutely blown away by the way that you, like I said, handle yourself with grace, and you bring such a beautifulness to the situations and experiences and environments that you're in. And I am absolutely honored to be impacted by you. And I hope that you know that. You're welcome. You're welcome. You deserve to hear it. And it never gets old when we compliment each other. And it never gets old when we compliment other women. We're not in this business to compete with each other.
Yeah.
We're in this business to lift each other up. And for anybody that thinks that that is cliche or full of it, if you watch enough of this series, you will see a common thread. And that thread is that human element to connect, to support, to care. And you are just another example of that beautiful thing and that beautiful community that we have. So, all right, switching gears for a second and bringing it back around. So tell me what inspires you? What motivates you? I know that's that's a tough one, but what inspires you and what motivates you to get up and get out of bed in the morning and slay the day? That's a saying you and I say to each other. Let's slay the day.
Big old Slayer.
Slayer.
Yeah. So, obviously my family is a big motivator. Being that I do have three very successful kids, it's like I want to be a success in their eyes as well. That to me is really important. That's a huge thing for me to show them too, is that I work really hard and I want them to be proud of me. I want them to say, yeah, my mom is good at what she does, and she's very successful at what she does, and she loves what she does. And because of that, that has been my probably my biggest motivation, is just to make those around me proud and make myself proud. Also making Robert proud. I mean, that's a big, just to say, look, I'm still here and I'm still making it and I'm still doing this because I want to make you so proud of me. So it's just that pride in so many ways of just, that's probably my biggest motivation.
So would you say, so that's your motivation? Would you also say that's one of your greatest rewards, is that this business and how, not just the business, but that this business, how it has changed your life. The reward is that those around you see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I'm able to share those trips with my kids and I'm able to, it's like being able to take Alexi to Africa was like one of her things on her top of her bucket list. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting that I can help you, check this off. And to be able to spend that one-on-one time with her, we always laugh because she was like, oh yeah, I'm the favorite child, because she's always been able to go on most of the trips with me. Atlantis and, you name it. She's been on most of them, but then being able to share with Casey and Mitchell as well. I mean, those things just being able to say, hey, you know what? Let me get that for you this month because I know it's been hard for you this month, and and I've had a great month. So being able to do those kinds of things for them, it brings me such pride in myself. So yeah, it makes me feel so good about myself in that way.
Well, because I know you on such a personal level, I know that you give more of yourself than sometimes you even give to yourself. Give of yourself to others. And I'm happy to hear you say, though, that this business has given you a sense of self. And it has given you confidence. I know that to be true because I've known you for I've known you for all of my Scentsy journey, but most of yours too.
Yeah.
And I met you at a very different time in your life. I met you, I mean, the correct me if I'm wrong, but that wound of losing Robert is still fresh. That'll never go away. It'll never go away. But it was much fresher when I met you. And to see the woman that you have become, and to see the woman that you have grown into, a lot of times out of necessity, because you didn't have anybody else to lean on to do for you. I think you've aged in reverse. I think you do. I think you have aged in reverse. I think that the woman that I met when I first started this journey is so different in a beautiful way than the woman you are today. I do think that you look younger. And I think that you are absolutely beautiful inside and out.
Oh,
And you know you're very important to me and my family, but I love being able to show this gentle, beautiful side of you to others.
oh, thank
I
you.
I am just honored to sit down with you and have these conversations. What is the best? Now, see, I just complimented you, and I'm going to ask you, what's the best compliment that you have ever gotten? And that's a tough one. But what is the best compliment?
Um, wow. That's hard because
It,
I have a hard time with taking compliments, it's like one of those things where it's like, I, I love just being me. I love giving. I love sharing of myself. That's kind of my language of love. My language of love is to give. And it makes me so happy when I can make someone else smile. And that's what makes me so happy within myself, is just to see someone else so happy. So compliment. I mean, obviously, to hear just how much you've seen the growth, I mean, that's a huge compliment to me. To hear that from somebody else is so big, because you want that to be seen. You don't necessarily, you see it within yourself, but to have somebody say that to you is so much bigger. So thank you, because that was a huge compliment to me.
well, you're so welcome. It's interesting because we love compliments, but as women, we have a hard time accepting them. And a lot of times it's hard to accept them because we aren't even sure that we believe what the compliment is ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think we have the ability to get better at that. I struggle with it. I struggle with accepting compliments. I have a hard time just saying thank you and not turning it back around and making it about the person that's giving me the compliment. I don't think that's a bad thing, but it's also something where we deflect the moment of sitting in that compliment because sometimes we question our worthiness of it. And we have the ability to build each other up, to make ourselves reflect on the good that's here. And I've seen you grow through that. I've seen you grow through that so much, bigger than you'll ever realize, because I remember when we would be getting ready to go somewhere and you would be like, I cannot leave this room until I'm perfect. I cannot leave this room until every hair is in its place and my makeup is perfect and everything is perfect. And
And now
today,
look at me.
get out of here, you're beautiful. But today, to see how you have grown through that in acceptance of yourself and saying, here's me and here's who I am. And my hair doesn't define me and my makeup doesn't define me. And this is who I am. And if you're not my person, you're not my person. And if you're going to judge me, you're going to judge me. And you're not my people. And I have seen you grow through that. And I'm so proud of you for that. I'm so proud of you for who you are and your continuance of waking up in the morning and saying, this is what I do. And I do it for myself, and I do it for my kids, and I do it for my grandkids. And there's no place else I'd rather be. It's a beautiful thing. You have grown up so much. Oh, look at you. You're so cute. Look at what you've
Aw.
grown. But I mean that as somebody that has lived and grown through it with you. I think I am a very different person than I was when I first started. I mean, I was in my 20s when I started Scentsy, and I didn't expect to do anything with this business. And, it's kind of a similar story that a lot of us have had. You started it because you love the product. You
Right.
stay because you love the people, and you stay because you love the lifestyle that you've been able to give yourself.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Um,
like I say, I'm a lifer.
too. We have definitely we haven't built just a direct selling business. We have built a legacy business. We have built something that there's I can't picture my life without Scentsy, without fragrance surrounding me, filling my life, but also without that common thread, the people that have been placed in my life because of it.
Absolutely.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me things that you love. What are things
I
that you love?
love. Oh wow. Oh, I love cookies. I've always considered myself a cookie holic. Um, I love to travel. Travel has been my absolute, I mean, some of my favorite trips have been, like Africa, Paris. I absolutely love Paris, but my all-time favorite place is Sevilla, Spain. I probably could move there. Like if I knew Spanish, I'd probably move there tomorrow. But I don't have a clue what anybody's saying. I guess you'd learn really fast if you live there. I love my kids. I love my family, my life. I even though I look back on the things that I've been through, I still cannot say that I absolutely love my life. I love the people in my life, my friends, um, you, your family is just means so much to me. And so those are the things that just bring me so much joy. Uh, just, yeah, those are the kinds of things I love. I love sunflowers. I love music. Music is kind of speaks to me. When you have a down moment or you have a happy moment, don't you always find something that just fits that time? Music always brings that to me. So yeah, those are the kinds I love sayings. Like I love to get on the computer and go to Pinterest and find different like quotes and sayings and things. And so yeah, that's pretty much what makes me me.
You love, and you love your dogs,
I do
and
love my dog.
you love your grandkids,
Oh yeah,
and
that's what I say. Family is just it's incredible. I mean, I look at my family and I just don't know what I'd do without them. We have been through a lot over the years. I mean, I lost my sister and my two oldest siblings. Um, and then just recently, obviously, lost my mom, and my dad's going through uh, some really hard. Got Alzheimer's, and it's getting worse day by day. And so it's been really, I feel like even though he's still here, I'm starting to kind of lose him a little bit. But I'm so thankful for him, and I'm so thankful um, for just having. It's just those are life is life is pretty incredible, and I can't say that there's a moment that, I mean, sure, there's moments where you kind of go, I wish I could erase that one. But you grow from every experience. And I have to say that I have loved every part of my life because I have grown and I have been able to learn from every single part of that.
And what's powerful is that you're able to acknowledge that, because with the amount of loss that you've suffered, it would be very easy to crawl in a hole.
Yeah.
But it's really important that you have chosen people to be in your life that won't let you do that. I think that's really important to point out, that we can't do life alone. And by alone, that doesn't just mean physically your house is empty. It means we need important people in our life in the right places to not let us fall down a rabbit hole of misery. And you, because of who you are, have been able to put those people in place. You know that Autumn and I are your biggest fans, and I mean, probably aside from your kids, but you have placed us in an important role in your life to where we would never let that happen. And the fact that you're able to see the beauty in life, even though it's hard and it can be sad, and there are moments where it can be joyous, and you know, the fact that you can still find your happy in little things is amazing. It's amazing. And I know that when people watch this, they're going to feel a connection to you. They're going to feel their situation or their story or their journey may not be the exact same as yours, but people will relate to you, and they will see this soft side of you and see that you still have the outlook in life to find what's beautiful. And I think that is more inspiring than anything that you could say. But by you living that and being a demonstration of what it's like to be a powerful, inspiring woman, you are that. You are that. And I don't need to be the first or last to tell you that, but your kids do have something so much to be proud of. Who you are, how you've provided for them. They have so much to be proud of. Your friends have so much to be proud of. Your family has so much to be proud of.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, let's see. Well, I would ask you, no, I'm not even going to ask you this question. We've gone through. Let me see which direction I want to go. We've talked about your greatest reward. We've talked about, I mean, obviously you've had roadblocks and hurdles. You've told me what you love, which is really important, because as women, sometimes we have a hard time sitting down and actually reflecting on the things that we love, the things we find happiness in. We get so lost in being a mom and a spouse and a business owner and a daughter and an aunt, and we lose ourselves so much in trying to be so much for other people that sometimes we have a hard time sitting down and being like, what do I even love anymore? What even brings me happiness? So the fact that you can talk about the things that you love and the things that bring you joy, that's a very powerful thing, because some women haven't done that reflection, or don't spend enough time on themselves. And I know that self-care is important to you.
Definitely.
I know that you do things to take care of yourself. What would you say is the best piece of advice someone has ever given you, or something that someone has said to you that has really stuck?
Wow. Wow, that one's a hard one. I'm not gonna lie. I think, what I've how do I, okay,
You're okay.
sorry.
No, don't say sorry. You're fine.
trying to find the words. One thing, I got a dog back here making noises. A piece of advice. I mean, obviously over the years, I've had a lot of advice given to me, you know, and a lot of things that I've had to work through. I think one of the things that learning to, the piece of advice, sorry, I'm thinking
Okay.
it's learning to be enough is you know, learning to, the advice was given to me of learning how to be you enough, and find who you are, you know. Don't, you are your person. You always want to be who you are and be true to yourself.
So what would
And
you say, what would you say to somebody, not to cut you off, but
Mhm.
what would you say to somebody that says, but that's selfish?
is sometimes it's okay to be selfish. When it comes to you, you have to be, there's times when you have to be okay to be selfish. Um, I've learned that where, you know, I give so much, I gave so much of myself growing up, and you know, raising my kids. I mean, you give so much to your kids that you do, especially being a stay-at-home mom, you lose yourself a lot. And so there was a moment where I really had to look at myself and go, who are you? No, and it's still a journey. I'm still finding out many things about myself that I didn't know, and that I'm still learning. And you know, even here I am at, you know, 54 years old, I am like, I'm still learning so much about myself. But I think the biggest advice that is look at you, look at who you are, and be true to who you are. It's hard sometimes to, you know, it's hard to want to be that way sometimes, because you think, yeah, it could be as selfish. Some people could take that as being selfish, but it it's, I think so. I think it's also setting those boundaries of of saying, okay, this is who I am and this is what I can accept. I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to do this. I'm still learning how to be me. And I think that's, you know, probably some of the best advice I can give is, or that's been given to me, is continue to learn and continue to be you. Um, I'm still working on it.
Listen, if we aren't all works in progress, then what are we still striving for?
Exactly.
I mean, I have always said the day that I stop learning something new or the day that I stop growing, I think I'll die a little bit each day
Mhm.
if I'm not learning or growing. And we will do that if we have that mindset till the day that we are done on this earth, then we have the potential to keep our minds young and keep our motivations and happiness alive. You talked about boundaries, and I just want to say this for anybody that's listening and needs to hear it, because it's something that I needed to hear and that I needed to become okay with, because I didn't used to have boundaries with anybody in my life. And when you don't have boundaries, it's very easy to be taken advantage of. It's very easy for yourself to become last. And a reminder that I want to say to everybody, this has impacted me. Boundaries are only questioned by those they don't suit. And I think that's extremely powerful, that those that are okay with your boundaries, and most people will be, there are people that are going to have an issue with the boundaries that you set because they don't suit them. And getting to a place where that's okay is very strong. That is self-care 101. Is that? Oh.
Sorry. We're talking about
Can you get off of this interview, please? I need you. So what did I want to say? After boundaries, I wanted to say, I lost it.
You were saying that some people will be okay and some people won't.
But it was one other thing based on something that you said, but how do you reflect on gratitude? Let me explain. Or how do you, some people, and it's okay if you say, yeah, I always wanted to do this. I haven't done this yet. But some people will write, 3 things they're grateful for before they go to bed. Or some people will journal and just dump their thoughts. Or some people, what is your outlet for gratitude and recognizing that this life is beautiful? What is your outlet?
I actually do have a gratitude journal. So unfortunately, I forget every once in a while, but I do have it, and I try to do it pretty religiously, because I have found that when I do reflect on those things that I am grateful for, and it can be as little as, you know what, I'm thankful that my tire wasn't, flat today. I mean, that's just, because, but though it's the little things that can make such big things in your life. Those are, I generally write at least, try and at least 3 things, and sometimes there's a lot more. Sometimes I have a hard time, even finding, I'm like, okay, I have to really think about this. What am I grateful for today? Because today was a really hard day. And but I always find something, whether it's the sun, or maybe it was just because the mailman brought the mail to my door rather than left it in the rain,
But it's really, really impactful when you can acknowledge the little things.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we think it has to be the big things. We have nothing good ever happens to me, but that's because you're defining it by the big things.
Right.
It's the small wins. The small wins can change your perspective and your perception of things. Our mind is so powerful. We control our mind, and our mind controls our body.
And I think I've learned that over the years, and learned that from, like I say, from the very beginning of when I was, first got married, and then losing Robert. It's like during those times, like, you really have to find those moments that you really have to look at, especially after he was gone. I had to really go, okay, what was it today that I can be grateful for? Because the loss was so huge. Where is my gratitude today? And it's as much as my kids, it was just them coming home and smiling and being happy. That was huge for me, is to have them be happy, because they lost their dad. That is so huge, and they were so close to their dad. So for them to be happy, that was just so huge for me, is to see that smile on their face, or to just, for us to be able to go and to laugh as a family, that was huge. So it's those moments. You got to be grateful for every little thing that you possibly can. And that's what I tried. So
I was going to say to you, now you have the platform to say anything that you want. Though what you just said was beautiful and a great way to take us out, but you can say anything you want, anything on your heart, anything on your mind.
Here's the thing. If I can do it, you can do it. I've been through not just through losing people in my life, but through experiences that have really taken me to a very, very deep low. And if I can bring myself out of that, you can too. Life is hard. Life can be hard, but it's finding those things that make you happy, finding the people that are in your circle and will stay with you no matter what. They're not going to judge you. They're going to love you for who you are. Find those people and keep them close. Those are what has been my saving grace, because if I haven't, I didn't have these people in my life. You, I don't know where I'd be to this day, because there's been you just, like I say though, I'm going to go back. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's finding that strength and finding the purpose that keeps you going, and you have to rely on that. You can do it.
You have demonstrated how relatable you are.
Oh.
There are going to be people that you've touched beyond measure because of this conversation.
Oh, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. You don't know how much this means a lot to me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sitting down with me. Thank you for showing the world how beautiful the world can be. Thank you.